Nobody told me that I was going to feel like I was losing my mind in my 40s.
Welcome to the Chitchat podcast. We're picking up where the group chat left off,
where the tea, the truth, and the timeline collide.
I'm Ray.
And I'm Kia.
So pull up.
Because when the homies link up,
it's laughter,
life updates,
and a little light therapy too. Let's chat.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
Ready to go. Welcome. Wait, we do hey. Hey.
Hey.
Welcome to the Chitchat podcast. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to get serious one day. Where the tea, the truth, and the timeline collide, baby. We give a seat and a mic to all the things that us ladies talk about. Basically, we pick up where your group chat left off. Hopefully we can keep that too. I had a stumble. Today's episode is going to be about, and for us, where we are in life and many others, perimenopause and menopause. I'm your girl, Ray. I'm your girl, Ray, and
I'm Kia.
So today's podcast is actually going to be about a topic that I think is very near, but maybe not dear to my heart right now, is perimenopause and menopause.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say just basically it seems like a lot of women are like, yo, nobody told me that I was going to feel like I was losing my mind in my 40s. So we want to talk a little bit about that. And just, again, share a bit about our personal stories and just kind of like what's going on.
Well, this has been a topic in some of our chats because we are in that time. So we wanted to have the conversation. So pull up. So before that, you're not going to believe this shit. So how about...
I know. You be getting some good ones.
I just saw they posted there is a whistleblower for DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and he is spilling all the tea. All the tea is juicier than the tea in my cup. So he has been spilling all the tea about the people, all the things you knew, but nobody was saying out loud. So he's saying the quiet and the loud parts out loud.
It's like, what are some of the things that you think that he said?
They're teaching them to not obey the Constitution, to
harm motherfuckers. Sorry.
Yeah, to harm people, to just to pretty much to disregard whatever law of the land is, which is really ironic since, those
law
people
and order?
run on law and order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they took away 240 hours of training. They teach them to break the constitutional law. So they're not knowing anything about what they're actually supposed to be doing or the rights of the American people. So they're operating here, but not under the law of this land.
I think that what they're actually doing is allowing those who feel a certain kind of way to do to people what they've wanted to do this whole time, right? And making them believe that they are within their right to do so. But what I hope and pray is consistent is that this administration won't be the administration forever.
Agreed that what they're doing, everyone can see that it's wrong, but they lay, lies on top of it, right? Which is what they've been doing to the melanated people here forever. And we tell people, have been saying, they will murk you and lie on you. And, everybody just waking up like, oh my God, they do that.
Said murk you. She brought out all other language. They will murk you.
So
Word.
They will do that and tell you it's your fault. So that justifies everything that happened to them. You're not going to believe that shit. So that happened.
We're not going to believe that shit, that we kind of believe that shit. We believe that shit.
Yeah. We believe.
switching the sides. I feel like, okay, shake it up. I don't feel like, because lately this shit is just really bringing me down. But can I tell you you're not going to believe this shit, which I thought as I was researching and learning a little bit more about the magic of menopause, again, via the masterclass series led by Halle Berry. I learned that back in the day, do you know how they treated menopause and or what they called hysteria? You do know? Yeah. What is it? Which I think is fucking nuts. Hello?
It's
Don't do the hand motion. We're gonna have to, I don't know what we're
I
about
may
to do.
have
We
to
got to
blur
beat
that
that. Yes.
Yeah.
So for those of y'all who don't get to see Nakia Nasty, is that back in the day, basically it's back in the day, the doctor had to stimulate your clitoris to cause an orgasm, and that was like part of fucking treatment. First off, the doctors must have been either one making mad money, because here come, Mrs. Johnson once a day coming for treatment weekly, daily.
Where they
And
do
that
that at?
right, they cheating. You cheating on your husband with the doctor, okay? But I remember listening, and I was so deep I was in like my nerd mode, right, with notes and stuff, and I was like, hello, like out loud when I heard this. That is crazy. But I guess the more you know, and also again, not to like okay it, but again, like when you research a bit about that, there is a bit of language around, like, I think it's something called pelvic massage therapy or clitoral, like, that is part of, maintaining some of our abilities to enjoy the thing that they call sex and and all that stuff. So again, that was mine. You're not gonna believe this shit, but it sounds like Nakia beat me to it. But maybe some of y'all be like, what? Like I was, because I was like, that is wild. That cannot be
I know
treatment.
some things.
Especially
was a
back in the day,
legit
they probably
treatment.
wasn't even having it at home. They probably was like, what is this?
It's like to treat hysteria, which is also related when you have a hysterectomy. It's really verbally, it's linked together.
I think it's all connected,
It is.
right? And again, all through all of this, understanding what our uterus, our ovaries, the things that it produces. But again, let's get into it. So
Let's make this one connection to your the first statement, not knowing that you would lose your mind in your 40s, hence the hysteria. So there is a connection there for sure.
absolutely.
All right. Let's get
Yeah.
into it.
I want to say that I've been saying that before I learned about this. Now, the more I, like I like to read like old books and things like, Jane Austen and blah, 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 blah. And they always talking about putting somebody in somebody cuckoo house. Even when you watch like The Crown or anything like that, there's always some woman that's getting like committed somewhere. And as I'm getting older, I was like, you know what? If the childhood, just having kids, all of this perimenopause, depression, this and da 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 da, and now peri and men and postpartum is what I meant to say. Everybody's going. They think we're crazy, but we're not.
Yeah. White Sargasso Sea. There's also that as well.
What did you say? Say it again.
The White Sargasso Sea.
I don't know what that is. Tell me what that is.
So that's another book. It's set in Jamaica, and I think it may have the similar characters from the Jane Austen's book, like what's
long
the one
ago
with the
kind
guy?
of thing.
No, it was a movie, and the woman went to the house as a teacher. Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre.
Yes.
So I think it's some of the characters from Jane Eyre. But don't quote me on this, because I feel like they are connected. And if they are, maybe I'll put a little disclaimer right around here.
No, but I think that's actually you're calling out a connection. That's
there's a connection there, and one of the women, they were termed as crazy, and she kept burning down the house, type of thing. So I think it's I think the woman who in White Sargasso Sea was the wife of the man in Jane Eyre. or there's a
Oh,
connection there, and I cannot recall at the moment, but put it in the comments, guys, if you understand what I'm
yeah,
talking about. So,
yeah,
White Cigar Society and Jane Eyre, there is a connection because I've read the book, I watched the movies, and because I really do love that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah.
me too. I
But,
didn't
yeah, so
actually
I
know
think
that
with
about you. We could
women
talk about that.
yeah, women losing their minds or what their term is of losing their minds, and this is after they have
Yeah,
kids, after they are of a certain
society.
age.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
It's
putting them
it's the
away.
hormones. It's the hysteria from the well, I don't want to say hysterectomy, but from that region, the estrogen, the
Mhm,
progesterone, it's the balance and it's all of the things which are quite natural, right? And
mhm.
unfortunately, society has put us in this position that we are off. But let's talk about what is perimenopause? What is menopause? Initially, I had written out this like amazing definition. Not amazing. It was from Oxford Dictionary. Let's not pretend.
Okay. You wanna get peri or menopause?
Actually, what I wanted to do is actually talk about how they're kind of like all one and the same to some degree.
Okay.
So either way. So the definition is the natural, biological, and often multi-year process where the body transitions from regular ovulation to menopause. Um, I also wanted to highlight that I had again via through this masterclass that they really
Mhm.
defined it as perimenopause is the moment where there is a change in your menstrual cycle, whether it's extended,
Mm.
or the flow or the amount of time that you're used to. This should be when you start to say, this is the early stages of perimenopause. Kia, you let us know what the menopause definition is.
I know we're not doctors and we are not in the medical
Oh,
profession, but we're here to, like, have this conversation with you guys. Definitely go do your research. Menopause is officially diagnosed after you have gone 12 months without your menstrual cycle. So the causes of that is like your natural decline in your reproductive hormones, and that's your estrogen, your progesterone, and then your ovaries stop producing eggs. And this
mm,
can be typically in the range of like 45 to 55. Some people can experience it earlier.
mhm.
Um, so some of
Me.
your symptoms, some people only think that with menopause and perimenopause that it's only like hot flashes, night sweat, there's vagina dryness.
Mhm.
That's like everything that's listed. That's like the worst. Sorry.
In your opinion.
In my humble opinion, weight gain, that's also bad. Thinning hair, because you could get wigs. Dry skin, there's lotion for that. Emotional,
Well, I don't know,
I
because I
know,
think
wait, no, I know.
what's
I know
unique,
it's
I
unique and
think,
there is more.
yeah, there's not always, I think what's unusual is not what you're used to. I think especially when you say something like,
Mhm. Extra. It's extra.
weight gain. We all kind of fluctuate, but like there's this weight gain that can't go away, and it's specific to being around, like the tire area. Like you're like there's
Yep.
like some uniqueness to it. And it doesn't seem to. It's not the things that you used to do are not able to,
Don't
are
work.
not working the way that they were before. So
Mhm.
again, just to clarify just some of those points, because they're not what you're used to. That's where I think that hysteria comes from, or like even going back to like the idea of like you didn't think you were losing your mind. You didn't know because like everything was like happening to you. You literally confused, don't know who you are. Something is off about myself. And I think that's
Right.
the like that you the I'm losing my mind piece of it.
Well, you should
Irritability.
also talk about the irritability, your mood swings, the anxiety you
Mm-hmm.
feel. Those
Mm-hmm.
are but everything is amped up to an unrecognizable degree sometimes, if that's
Mm-hmm.
what you right?
Forgetfulness. These are mental things that
Mhm.
you're like, I didn't used to be like that. Like I cannot find my key, like, or if you're a super organized person, you're like, what's going on? Like I just can't do the things or use the tools I used to. Brain fog, concentration. There's
Right.
just so many things. Like imagine this is all happening to you in this time, but even back then, and you're like, what? I'm losing my mind. Like I'm don't my marbles are gone. Like I'm literally like losing my marbles. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's a lot. Those symptoms are real.
Some women share the same symptoms and some women do not. So there's such a
Yeah.
degree and some women have more elevated degrees of menopause and perimenopause symptoms than others,
Yeah.
which can contribute to that feeling of like, what's happening to me.
Yeah.
Because you've been yourself for how long? From since you were born,
Right.
you go through like the other changes like menstrual cycles, having kids, and those are still not as drastic as I believe as sometimes menopause can feel.
I think that is a really great point because they talk about normalizing, right? Because that's what we need to do. We need to normalize this. It is the same as when
Right.
we were about to go through puberty. Right?
Mhm.
There was
Yep.
some hormonal changes. We knew something was
Mhm.
coming. That moment came, and then we knew there would be that post, right? And we know that with babies and having children, that there's all these expectations. But for some reason, at this stage, maybe it's associated with us getting older. It's really treated as this like foreign thing, but it's a similar stage or a moment. It's a moment in life. I thought something else that I thought was really cool was described as like it's basically your brain as a DJ, right? Your brain is a
Mm.
DJ and now it's playing a new beat. And it just takes a
Okay.
second. It takes maybe some years, some time to kind of like catch the rhythm again, but you will.
Mhm.
And I really did kind of put a little bit of like a positive spin on it of things of like not feeling like this is dreadful. But again, just same way you
Mhm.
got used to having your period, we ain't love it, but we used to having a baby, there's some change. This
Mhm.
this too, and these experiences shall pass. Last thing, and then I will shut up because I went way too far. Is one of the things that I really thought was really um useful in us talking about this is Dr. Judith Joseph. She's a like board certified psychiatrist and researcher.
Mhm.
She had said that one of the things that's really important in this time for us is that it's called affect labeling, like AFFECT, and it's the practice of putting a name or a label to your current emotional state. And that's like
Oh, okay.
the familiarity, right? Like being able to say, feel this, I feel that, and this is like it helps to give you like I'm not unusual and
Mhm.
hopefully make you not have the idea of like losing your mind, right? By being able to put
Mhm.
a name on this stuff. So I think that this is like why I think in essence why we are having this show, because I think we've identified that by talking about it will allow others to put a label on it and what they're potentially feeling, experiencing, and then hopefully again that will help to alleviate some of the stress of feeling other, or like lack of
Right.
education or lack of knowledge. So that's my
Oh, that's
my tea.
amazing because I think you should always name the thing. That's a big thing. If someone's alcoholic, name the alcoholism. If someone is a thief, name them as a thief. If you have in the hot
I love
flashes,
it. Yes,
you name them
yes.
damn hot flashes.
Smart one. That was because now I'm like thinking like if you know somebody steals, right, and you're like, here come Jesse the thief, to act like he a thief.
You
Like
know
you put
exactly
your
how.
stuff, like hold your purse,
Yes.
like hey Jesse girl.
Hold your purse. That's what I'm saying. So I think you made a really great point about how menopause is not as celebrated as some of our other changes into puberty, into childbearing years. And those parts of our lives are not as are very much celebrated, right? And they're normalized because I feel because it's younger, it's shinier. But when you get to menopause and perimenopause, it's kinda like they wanna shove you in a closet, kinda like what we were talking about earlier about putting women away for being hysterical and putting them in the nut house. But if we normalize the conversations about it and even have it as a celebration, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we are fortunate to make it this far to experience this thing.
Girl, you try to make
You
me
know what I'm
cry. You
saying?
try to make me cry.
Celebrate that we are here, that we are fortunate and blessed to be here and have celebrations around it. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
As we celebrate everything else, why not celebrate this? I know it feels like it is a closing of a door. However, for women in this bracket, there's so many other
It's a
joys.
blessing. Be able
Yeah.
to achieve this point.
We need to have we need to have a party. We need to have a menopause party.
Come on, girl. Let's party my youth away. No, I'm just kidding. I'm okay. I'm okay.
No, you
I'm
call
okay.
it the
I'm still dealing.
menopause party.
Yeah, I'm dealing. Well, I don't want to pause mommy, and I'm just kidding.
But still, it's about you. in this moment because you're going through these, extraordinary changes, right? It's a moment to
Extraordinary.
celebrate that.
I think I do. I do feel, oh, I'm lucky in this way to have this way of thinking. I believe that. Although, again, what we were saying is that I haven't reached that 12-month mark yet, but based off my blood work, I'm basically like, the doctor's like, girl, have a party. But my mom
Mm.
passed away at 40. I'm 43. And again, now that I'm older than she was, right? I do have to look at it from that perspective. My mom didn't even have an opportunity to experience this, right? So, or to get here. So I am grateful for every day, that I'm here, for the ability to have my babies, the ones that I do have. I also often say I'm really happy to be alive in the sense of like a bit where there's science and there's medicine, and that we can have a conversation like this, so that I know that I'm not hysterical. You know what I'm saying? Again, for me, I think um because I believe this happened very quickly, like it was like if I understand again, I'm sure a few months from now I'll be like, girl, it looks like I've been in perimenopause since I was 24 or something. But it has
Yeah.
felt as if it happened very quickly. And I feel like it just, again, I have a 1.5-year-old, so maybe there's some of that it just, I've been losing my mind within the past 6 months, like literally, and scared to the point that I really did start to think that I was having like early stages of dementia. Again, I never said this to my friends or never said this to my husband, but like literally, like, what is going on? Right? Like, what the F is going on? Like, I have already have been diagnosed with ADHD, and everybody's doing it now. And with postpartum, I've again gained a bit of anxiety. So I was just kind of like, I already know those feelings. Like, this is worse. So this is it. This is the big one. I hope my husband
Okay,
find a good
Fred.
wife, right? But anyway, let's go. Let's move on. Let's move on, because there's a lot of to talk about when we talk about Black women. There's a lot to talk
Yeah.
about, and how we might differ or have our perspectives of this, or our experience with this is different from just different. And I think that we have like 5 myths that Black women have about menopause. And I think it's a really great thing that Nakia pulled this up, and I thought it was really great because they're also conversation starters, right? Because again, as we learn so much more, we can again address some of these, put some of them to bed, but also talk about why we feel the way we do, and like make sure that we address some of the societal shit that makes us not always get the best of care. Do you want to
Yeah.
jump into it? Boom.
Sure. Yeah. So there are 5 myths, and society, they want to, what do you have, the old maids? They're gonna try to shove you out the door and bring in the young people. But it's okay. I understand. All right. So the 5 myths. 5 myths. HRT is too dangerous, right? And people fear breast cancer often drives skepticism about hormone therapy, even though it's often the most effective treatment, especially through the lens of Black women. Myth 2. So menopause is just hot flashes, and it's not a big deal. For Black women, symptoms often are more severe and can include intense rage, severe anxiety, and cognitive issues. And those feelings could be dismissed by providers. Myth 3. You just have to suffer through it because um you have to suck it out. So that's also because
That's
of
our people.
possible, like, that's the word, you gotta suck it out. But sometimes that's not healthy. Because of a cultural silence and lack of information, many believe that to simply endure rather than to seek care for long lasting, sometimes 10 years plus symptoms. So 10 years
Wow.
of suffering
Without
that
knowing what's going on.
without, it, but you don't seek, you
You
don't
don't
seek
have a
any,
source. You're suffering through it. Again, maybe you just have to
but
deal
you
with
don't
it,
seek
right?
the help for it. You just thug it
Before
out.
before we go
Like a
on,
headache with no aspirin. Yeah.
we should probably highlight the article, right? Because this came from an article, and we want to give a little credit
Yes.
to the
So
source
this
of.
article came from a site called Let's Talk Menopause. And these are menopause stories from Black women and the doctors who listen to them. So these are, a compilation of different concerns
I
that
love this.
people have
I
heard.
didn't know this before. You know the doctor I
What?
mentioned, Dr. Judith Joseph? She's a
Yeah.
board member of Let's Talk Menopause.
There you go.
So
Connection,
I think that
connection.
we're bringing it back. All right.
They have the connection. It's a good source. I felt like this was a very helpful article, and it shed a lot of light on things that you could be thinking, or enlighten you on things that you were not thinking yet. So that,
Mm-hmm.
and I find it very, very helpful. Myth 4, it happens at the same time for everyone. Research shows that Black women tend to enter menopause often over 8 months earlier than white women. Oh, I did not know that. And myth 5, it's all in your head. So, due to systemic racism and bias in the healthcare system, many Black women are often not believed when reporting symptoms, leading to a delay in treatment and diagnosis.
Yeah.
So, what's
That's
hitting for you?
it's just a reflection of what we've experienced or as of late understanding, not that it's happened as of late, but at least having eyes on like what happens in pregnancy and just kind of, you think of that Serena Williams story of kind of when you're experiencing pain and things like that, that the idea that Black women might be stronger or like that, what we consider to be level 10, maybe we're being dramatic or something like that. So it does support that. It's still the same, right? No matter what, there's going to be some level of, not always, we're hoping we'll get away from it, but right now there's still very much some bias, which with this that doesn't necessarily benefit us. But again, I think with the great thing about these myths is to make sure that we debunk them, right? And that when we feel something and we can actually affect label what we're experiencing, or we can identify some of that stuff, right? You bringing it back, you saw that? It can help us to get, be advocates for ourselves and, to really truly go and say, this is what I'm feeling and I really need you to do this test or to take this seriously. And until you can debunk what I'm feeling, I would like for you to continue to look into it for me. I wanted to hop back to myth 1.
Okay.
HRT, because I think we talked a little bit about that, and we didn't talk about what HRT is. And for those of you who might not know it, so it's hormones replacement therapy. And as I told y'all it's hard for me. As she had mentioned before, it's very much a result of our bodies create estrogen and progesterone. And with perimenopause is basically the decline of those two hormones and how that impacts. And that flows through our bodies in every way up to our brain, to everything, our bones. And it really impacts a lot of things. So as we continue to decline in that, this is where a lot of these symptoms become more prevalent and start showing up. So some of the
So,
treatment for that,
no,
sorry.
okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say so the treatment for that is to replace those hormones. So HRT. So it is currently, for example, I have an estrogen patch, which I put on my tummy twice a week. And I leave it on. It stays on during the shower. I'm a little hairy girl, so sometimes it hurts to take it off. And every day I take some progesterone. I take a small pill. So this is what that is. And until recently, up until I think January of this year, there was a skepticism. There was some black box labeling that was basically stating that HRT would double your basically with HRT, it could increase your likelihood of getting cancer. And what we've learned or what they've looked into recently is that likelihoodness or whatever you want to call it, the appropriate word, is the same amount of likelihood of they tell you if you have one alcoholic drink a day, it might slightly increase your potential for breast cancer. And they're basically saying that this is the same level. It's very, 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 very low already. So they were saying that nobody looked into the statistics and looked into actually it's almost like if you double a small percentage, yes, you doubled it, but it's still small. So that's basically what they've debunked. And so that all of that the information or misinformation about that link to cancer is scientifically disproven. So I just wanted to clarify
Right.
that piece.
So, what has been your experience taking the HRT drugs? Like, has it been helpful? Like,
Absolutely. So I think I've been on it for about 3 to 4 weeks now, maybe a month. And again, I just want to stress to y'all, I was losing my mind. I feel I can bring my husband on here. All the things that I knew I was good at, I was really questioning. Even like something as silly as like reading out loud. I went to my son's class and I was like over a children's book that I'm like Miss Reed. I'm your librarian, basically. I give you voices. I'm going to give you sounds. I wouldn't get into it. And I could not. It was awkward. I've damn near almost lost my job because, again, I just could not concentrate. I could not deliver or move in the way that I used to, where I'd be like, oh, I'd do that in a week. I was like, what language is this thing in? Like, just not okay.
Wow.
So the hot flashes, okay? I would be holding my 1-year-old and trying to take a sweater off with the arm, like, just like, Lord, take this thing off. Long story short, I feel like I want to say a new person. I feel like my old self, or
Okay.
at least something close to it. I haven't had hot flashes since. Okay. I feel like I can talk clearly again. I'm like, I'd lose my wallet maybe 3 times a day, not even a week. I just really, and I don't want to exaggerate it, but for me, who was already on X, Y, and Z, anxiety meds and da 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 da, I feel like at least I'm back to some kind of level of like, okay, at least this person looks familiar to me. You know what I mean? Like of course there's the weight gain and there's all of this other stuff. My hair, I miss like, I cut my hair and grow it out in a minute. Girl, my hair is not growing. I am worried. I'm stuck with this afro and that was not the plan. But again, I don't know. I just feel like things feel healthier. I feel more like myself.
Okay.
And those immediate symptoms, I can say that they are much, much quieter.
Okay. Well, that's a great outcome for that. And also,
Yeah.
give yourself grace because you just had a baby, dude. Um, and you have babies back to back. So, like, I know the weight gain and body image is definitely a big thing for a lot of women, especially in this society. So,
Yeah.
grace should be given.
Again, I'm screaming it to the mountaintops because I talk too much. But what is your like personal experience, whether it's not
So,
with Perry or just like what's your connection to this world?
I think because of age, I think I'm in the perimenopause category based on, the different symptoms. I've had hot flashes, but they don't last forever. I feel like I have them for a month and then they go away for 6 months and then they come back. As of right now, I'm still having a period, but the spaces are longer in between,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 3 to 6 months or
Mm.
something like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm on approach. The plane might be landing. I don't know. So
Yeah.
even with my doctor, because I was still having my period as of last year, I don't think that she included me in just the menopause side, but probably perimenopause.
I'm
But
about to
do I
tell
have to
you.
get testing and stuff like that? I have, like, the symptoms of it where
Mm-hmm.
I do forget things. I used to lose my phone all the time, like, "Where is it?" Like, I could never remember where I put the phone down. I put it down, and I could
Mm.
never remember where I put it down, so I'm, like, looking for it for, like, 20 minutes. I do
No.
that all the time. So that's where I'm like, "Whoa, alright." I'm definitely having the brain fog part of it.
Here's a
So yeah.
myth that is not included, I would think that's
For
specific
this
to
one,
Black women, but I do
what is
think
that?
this is very related to what you're saying. The idea of when you go to the doctor
Mhm,
and they're not including or with via blood work or things like that. And this is a myth that, right, that um, blood test or a single marker, something like that would be able to be indicative of where you are in this or if you are in this. And one of the things I learned personally is the idea that this is a fluctuation. Our hormonal
mhm,
change, we go through the months, the period come, and then so our hormones, our levels are constantly in flux, right? But
mhm,
with this point in our lives, when you go to that doctor, because I've actually been to the doctor a couple of times saying like something's not right or I feel this, and they're like, "Girl, we took the blood work. You looking like you a fresh spring chicken. Okay, you
that part.
looking good. There ain't nothing wrong, or not wrong that we don't see any markers." when you go to the doctor, depends on that day where your hormones are. So your estrogen and progesterone could actually be high that day. You know what I'm saying? But then in between time, it is, plummets. And those are the marks. So it's the blood work alone is not going to be able to tell you, because it might not reflect where, like the totality of your symptoms. Whereas if you go and you say you're also experiencing X, Y, and Z, they might take you more seriously. So that's not seriously. I don't want to say that. They might put more validity to your claim. And I think that that's something that has changed drastically over the couple of years, of kind of like how doctors are less reliant on the blood work and more reliant on trusting what this individual is telling you they are experiencing, and asking questions about, is your period, how far apart of this? Have you noticed any change? And not just relying on kind of like taking this blood work, because I've had 2 blood tests before this least most recent one that said everything was fine. And then this last one, and again, I feel like my plane has landed. It was so high that there was no denying that there is basically, I'm an ovarian failure is what they're saying, function failure, some shit like that. So just a myth that I wanted to debunk real quick. I feel like this is one of our most serious conversations so far. Like, we have been kikiing,
is.
but I love it. I love it.
No, I think it's good. If the myths that we have, or the myths that we have stated, again, some people will feel them, some people have not. The thug it out myth is definitely a thing because it's not being spoken about. Whether it's coming from family or it's coming from friends, like sometimes you're not really approaching the subject like you normally would. Maybe because it maybe feels like taboo, but like we said earlier, we have been having this conversation in our own chats because we're just tight like that.
Yeah.
So,
But I think that's just,
thugging it out is a thing. But even with like my mom, I talked to her
oh
about like
yes.
what she experienced, because you talk about it, but you don't talk about it. But what she said was her mom told her that when she was 50, she was gonna stop having her period.
Just
And
straight up.
I think that was about it. But again, just from a different generation, I don't think that there was a whole lot of talking. There's a lot of talking, but not a lot of talking. Um, so I think she went through it. She went through her menopause, but I think she did it with friends and other women that she worked with, and so she had knowledge from their experiences, and they would speak to each other. So kinda like the sisterhood, but they weren't doing it, across the podcast. They pretty much did it across the table at lunch or
Love
something
that.
like that. So this is just for us to be able to kinda own the space, own our bodies, and own this moment, right, that we're going through, just like everything else we do as
Um
women. But let's see, alright, okay. Are there any other myths that you wanna address? Oh, the racism?
um
We can address that.
what? What
No,
racism?
well, we kind of addressed it where your symptoms may not be there is a myth that Black women, um, feel things differently, therefore they are not treated with the same,
Level
validity,
of,
level
yeah.
of care that maybe their counterparts would be, because it's felt like we experience things different, or we're not heard, or our symptoms are not listened to. So that's a real thing.
I feel like before ending, I thought one thing that, and hopefully we'll be able to either, link the site to Let's Talk Menopause and just some of the things, is that,
It will be in.
yeah, one of the things that I would love to leave everyone with is, again, this one item that I saw that Dr. Joseph had mentioned, is how she helps women to identify, like some, like that they might be in this phase, and how to identify is called the TIES method. So TIES method, where if menopause would affect you in this way, or peri would be, so if you thinking you're being affected with thinking, so your cognitive symptoms like brain fog, forgetfulness, and time management issues. I, where you're, what is it called, density, that's interesting, feeling like you no longer know identity, hello, That's
Oh,
funny. I forgot the I. I forgot to include the I in my reading. So identity, again, feeling like you no
yeah.
longer know who you are, right? E,
Okay.
emotions, anxiety, depression, irritability, and mood swings. And S, sleep, insomnia and disrupted sleep. I feel like that's one we didn't harp on, which I think is a big one.
Right.
It's the commonality of women feeling like they wake up in the middle of the night, or they wake up and they're just exhausted all day. And that's another thing. I had to keep telling my husband, I swear to God, you know I'm not like this, but I just want to take a nap. I'm just going to take a nap as soon and then whenever I can. And he's like, you sleeping again with all these kids running around? And if
Well,
you
that
haven't,
could contribute to it too. And
yes,
having all the kids as well.
yes. So then you're
Don't
confused. You're
leave
like,
that
what
part
is it?
out.
Right. It's the cycle. It's the chicken or the egg. But there is sleep disruption. If you also talk about hot flashes, there's the night sweats, right? That disrupts your sleep. So there's like all of these things. But if we want to kind of help guide, like, is this what I'm experiencing? Think of ties. Think of ties. Okay, so how it's affecting your thinking, your identity, your emotions, and your sleep.
Yeah. But before we wrap up, we're actually going to do some myth or fact, right? And this is all about perimenopause and menopause. So I know that there are a lot of myths or facts out there. It's really good to have the truth and not operate on myth. All right, all right. All right.
Okay.
The myth of fact. You can't get pregnant on menopause. In menopause. You cannot.
Menopause or perimenopause?
Perimenopause.
Okay, so if it's peri, you probably can. Maybe it's going to be harder. In menopause, I would say you probably cannot.
Okay, so is it true or false? You cannot. Is it true
Is
or
it
false?
false? It's false. Now you know.
Yes, it's false.
So I secretly don't love the applause, but that was perfect timing.
So yes, it is false. I will take this all the way through. So
Yeah.
as you are kind of the expert at menopause. Okay. Hot flashes only last a year.
That has to be
True or false?
False.
So yes, that is false. For many women, hot flashes can last like 7 to 10 years, guys. Yikes. On average, 7 to 10 years. That's brutal. If you ever had a hot flash, it is not fun. It
No.
is hot AF. And some people have them like the full on drenchness.
Sweats,
And some
drench.
people
Right. That's
don't.
wild.
I am on the don't side as of right now. I just get really hot. I turn the fan on, then it goes away.
I've never had drench, but I definitely have had hot flashes.
Yeah.
Like a little,
Maybe I had the
like, oh
baby
my
one.
goodness, a little sweat about the lip or something.
Yeah, you feel it. It feels like a wave. Feels like well, at least for me, it feels like a
Yeah.
wave of heat.
It's-
And then it goes like all the way up and it comes all the way down.
It's
But
not
that's
right.
how I would describe it.
It's
But
just not
I
right.
feel like it feels different for everybody, right?
I would assume.
So, all right, next one. Menopause. Menopause only affects your reproductive system. True or false?
False? I'm not positive on this one. Okay, good. Okay. Because
All right,
again,
so it impacts your brain, your heart, your bones, metabolism.
Oh yes.
Your whole body is in transition, basically.
Can
Not
I also
just
add?
your reproductive.
I'm gonna connect some shit. You know how they always talk about osteoporosis? Right? I feel like when
Yes.
you're older, you break a hip, all of this. It's all connected
Yes.
because the estrogen and progesterone are what help you to like regenerate bone. Because I guess our bone regenerates all the time. It's like something that fills in. So now that you have the reduction in it, your bones become a little bit more fragile. And now you're going to take a fall or a tumble. It's all connected.
Break your shit. You know, it had something that you said earlier. Let's interject. I want to interject this. The same things that you have to take for menopause is some of the same things you have to take for like IVF. That's a whole other conversation, especially with the estrogen and the progesterone, because you are loaded up on that stuff.
Yes.
During IVF.
Yes.
So like,
But that makes
I'm saying-
sense because they need basically IVF in that process is them taking control of your ovarian function. They need to get it on a schedule. So they use those
and pop
levels
it up.
in order to get control, right? And make more eggs or not more eggs or mature them faster.
Mature them
Yes.
faster.
And the progesterone again is very much, even now, I'm taking it to make sure that they don't go around and making my vaginal lining too thick or thin or whatever she said. So it's all very connected, girl.
Yeah, very connected. And we will do a IVF for Black girls. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
we got to
will.
do an IVF for Black girl. Let's space out the serious conversations.
Yeah, it's gonna be
it's
later.
deep. It's deep.
It's gonna be later. But okay, so we're gonna do like 2 more. Perimenopause can turn your sex drive into a confusing on again, off again situationship.
I'd like to plead the fifth on this one, Your Honor. No, I'm kidding. No, we all know, right? We talked a little about that the drivage age, right? There's all types of stimulation therapy that needs to be done. So I think that this is very true. It's again, if it could impact your bones, I'm sure it could impact your boner. So let's.
Wait, who's the boner for? Wait a
Well,
minute.
women get boners. I think if it's
Oh,
your
it's the lady
hard,
boner. I was like,
the
who's
lady
boner?
boner.
Okay, the
Our
lady
boner, my
boner.
boner,
All
your
right.
boner, his boner.
That's definitely true.
The boner.
Hormones. The V boner. That's copyright. V boner.
We never gonna wrap up this one. This is too good.
Wait. So hormones fluctuate wildly during perimenopause. So the libido can spike 1 week and disappear the next. It's not inconsistency. It's biology doing the cha-cha.
I love that it said it that way because again, it goes back to what I was saying about that blood test. It fluctuates wildly. So depending on when you go in, you might be, you might be high or low. So again, all connected. I love this little game.
Yep.
What else you got? We done?
I was gonna do one more. Got one more. One more. All right. Joint pain and stiffness can be related to menopause.
True.
We haven't. You got 100 on this test, ma'am. A whole 100.
I'm a nerd. I went all the way in on this one.
You are 4.0 GPA on here. So estrogen
Girl,
has
that's a hard one.
anti-inflammatory properties. As it declines, some women experience new or worsening joint aches. Hence why my joints be aching.
So happy that again we have this podcast for this particular reason. Like I do think that it's from these chats amongst friends, amongst women, that we're able to learn from each other. I think one of the exercises that I did is for this episode is I sent out a text to all my group chats and say like, hey, what do you know? Or when did you learn about this? And what we learned about is that nobody's really talking about it or passing it down, even in this day and age. We see it on TV. We're getting it. We're getting it in our timelines, but it's only through conversation. And so many women who've been like, I'm so happy you guys are talking about this and saying like, oh, I learned this from this, or I didn't even know that, and I'm experiencing this, or oh my gosh, I didn't know that was related, and having to go now to advocate for themselves to better understand their bodies. So I love that we did this. Before we close out, I'm wearing some Black brands and want to give them a little shout out. I want to give a shout out to Chic Shirt Shop. Say that 3 times fast. This is my Black Barbie t-shirt.
Love it.
I love it. Again, this is not me. I'm not paid or didn't send this. They don't even know who I am yet. But these are just some of the things that I particularly love about this podcast, to be able to give these shout outs. I finally found my lipstick from the last episode. I don't know if we included that I lost it, but it's here.
We did.
From Lip Bar. And also I have my pink jeans from the Harlem Fashion Row / The Gap collab. Again, Nicole Benningfield. I had got the top last time, but I still had the jeans and I hadn't worn those yet. And that's all. And all of this, I get it from my mama, and it was free.
You showed up like this.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. We also have another listener question.
Yes.
Tell us in the chat, what did you learn about menopause from your mom, grandma, auntie.
Love that.
Tell us the things that you learned. Drop us
Or
some
didn't
light in the
learn.
chat, or didn't learn, or was there anything new that you learned today? Like, let us know.
Yeah.
Or
Or
anything else that
anything
you
else
want to
you
talk
want to
about.
learn. Yes, Jinx.
Yeah, you buy me a Coke, girl. Uh, so, all right. So, for all of our lovely, lovely listeners of the Chit Chat podcast, the chat is closing for the day. If this conversation hit home, please like, subscribe, share this episode with a friend who would definitely have something to say in this chat. And don't forget to come back next week for another conversation on the Chit Chat podcast. Bye, guys.